why your path feels different, or if you've ever struggled with the idea of standing alone, then this is for you. Because the reality is not every path is meant to be walked with company. Some roads are designed for those brave enough to take the first step alone. And if that's you, then get ready, because this journey might just change everything. Chapter 1. The solo path is where you find who you really are. When you remove the constant noise of opinions, expectations, and societal pressure, chose to walk alone. Not because they had to, but because they understood a profound truth. True growth, self-discovery, and freedom begin when you stop depending on the crowd and start trusting your own path. It's your road and yours alone. Others may walk it with you, but no one can walk it for you. This is not a story about loneliness. This is about strength, clarity, and the unstoppable power of those who dare to embrace the solo journey. If you've ever felt like you don't fit in, if you've ever questioned the power of solo journeys, normalize walking some paths alone. Imagine waking up one day and realizing that the only person you can truly rely on is yourself. No validation, no approval, no safety net. Just you and the path ahead. Would you panic, or would you rise? Most people fear walking alone, believing solitude is a sign of failure, rejection, or weakness. But what if I told you that some of the most powerful, successful, and enlightened individuals in history, doing so, you start to see yourself clearly. Walking alone means stepping away from the constant validation and influence of others. It gives you the space to reflect, to ask yourself difficult questions, and to discover what truly matters to you. Are you making choices because you genuinely believe in them, or because they are what others expect from you? Do you pursue certain goals because they fulfill you, or because they impress the people around you? These are questions that can only be answered in solitude, where no are left with one thing: your true self. But in a world that is always demanding something from you, finding your true self is not as easy as it sounds. Many people spend their entire lives trying to fit in, seeking approval, and living according to what others expect from them. They suppress their real thoughts, ignore their deepest desires, and mold themselves into what they believe is acceptable. But when you choose to walk alone, something powerful happens. You are forced to confront yourself without distractions, and external voices are shaping your thoughts. This is where you understand your real values, passions, and beliefs without the need to impress, compromise, or conform. You start to make decisions based on what feels right for you, not what pleases the crowd. You begin to see what excites you, what makes you feel alive, and what kind of life you truly want to build. When you walk alone, you are free to explore different ideas, experiment with your interests, and redefine what success and happiness mean to you. But more importantly, walking alone teaches you to rely on your intuition. Instead of constantly looking to others for answers, you start to listen to your inner voice. You become more in tune with your instincts, and over time you develop an unshakable trust in yourself. This self-trust is incredibly powerful because it gives you confidence in your decisions, no matter what challenges come your way. You no longer need approval to move forward, nor do you fear making mistakes, because you understand that every step, even wrong ones, are a part of your growth. The more you trust yourself, the stronger you become. Confidence doesn't come from knowing all the answers. It comes from knowing that whatever happens, you can handle it. And that kind of confidence is only built when you embrace solitude and allow yourself to walk your own path without fear. Walking alone may feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you have always relied on external validation. But over time you will realize that solitude is not a burden. It is an opportunity. It is in those quiet moments when you are completely alone with your thoughts that you truly meet yourself. And when you finally know who you are, you will never again feel lost, no matter where life takes you. Chapter 2. Solitude is the gateway to mental clarity and strength. In today's world, distractions are everywhere. From social media notifications to endless conversations, from workplace pressures to family expectations, our minds are constantly being pulled in different directions. Process your emotions, reflect on your goals, and gain a deeper understanding of yourself. Some of history's greatest thinkers, philosophers, and leaders have sought solitude to sharpen their minds. Einstein took long, quiet walks to think through complex scientific problems. Buddha left behind the distractions of society to meditate in complete silence, leading him to profound spiritual enlightenment. Nietzsche believed that solitude was necessary for creativity and deep thinking. These individuals. It is rare to find a moment of pure silence, a space where you can just think without interruption. But solitude offers something that nothing else can. Mental clarity. When you choose to step away from the noise, you give your mind the space it needs to breathe. Imagine your thoughts as a river. When too many things are thrown into it, the water becomes muddy and chaotic. But when you remove the clutter and let the water settle, it becomes clear. This is exactly what solitude does for your mind. It allows you to understand something that most people overlook. Clarity and wisdom do not come from constant engagement with the world, but from stepping back and observing it from a distance. Solitude is not about cutting yourself off from people forever. It is about intentionally creating time and space where you can focus on what truly matters. It is about learning to be comfortable with your own company, listening to your own thoughts and finding answers within yourself instead of seeking them from the outside. There is a huge difference between being alone and being lonely. Loneliness is a feeling of emptiness, while solitude is a state of empowerment. When you embrace solitude, you realize that you do not need external validation to feel whole. You become mentally self-sufficient, able to handle challenges with a clear and focused mind. Strength is not just about enduring hardship. It is about knowing how to maintain your inner peace in any situation. When you develop the ability to sit with yourself without world, when you spend time alone, you become more aware of your thought patterns. You start to notice which thoughts empower you and which ones hold you back. You gain insight into your fears, your dreams, and the things that truly bring you joy. Without distractions, you are able to see your problems from a fresh perspective, making it easier to find solutions. Beyond mental clarity, solitude also builds mental strength. Many people fear being alone because they associate it with loneliness. Distractions. You gain control over your emotions. You no longer react impulsively to situations. You respond with wisdom. You do not let stress consume you because you have built an inner world that remains calm no matter what chaos surrounds you. If you feel overwhelmed, confused, or stuck in life, take a step back. Unplug from distractions. Spend time alone, not in a way that isolates you from the world, but in a way that allows you to reconnect with yourself. The answers you are looking for are not in the noise. They are in the silence, and when you learn to embrace that silence, you will find a mental clarity and strength that no one can take away from you. Chapter 3. Walking alone builds resilience like nothing else. There's a certain kind of strength that only comes from walking alone. When you rely too much on others, you unintentionally weaken your own ability to stand on your own feet. But when you choose to face life's challenges alone, without a safety net, without constant reassurance, and without expecting someone to save you, you develop a level of resilience that is unshakable. Life is unpredictable. No matter how much support you have, there will be moments when you must rely on yourself. People may leave, circumstances may change, and the world may throw obstacles in your way. If you are always dependent on others, those moments will break you. But if you have trained yourself to stand alone, you will not only survive difficult times, you will thrive. Walking alone means taking full responsibility for your journey. When no one is there to catch you when you fall, you learn how to pick yourself up. When no one is there to solve your problems, You develop the skills to overcome them yourself. This is the kind of resilience that makes you stronger, sharper, and more capable than ever before. Many people avoid walking alone because they fear struggle. They seek constant validation, guidance, and support, thinking that being alone means being weak. But the truth is, struggling alone is what builds true strength. When you have no choice but to figure things out on your own, you become resourceful. You learn how to adapt, how to think critically, and how to push through difficulties without breaking. Consider the strongest people in history: leaders, innovators, pioneers. They didn't become great by always relying on others. They faced hardships alone, overcame obstacles by themselves, and built a mindset that could withstand any storm. Resilience is not given to you by others. It is built within you through experience. Walking alone does not mean... Most people fear loneliness, but what they should truly fear is becoming dependent on others to the point where they cannot stand on their own. If you learn to walk alone, you will never feel lost. No matter where life takes you, you will develop an inner strength that no one can take away. So the next time you feel the weight of walking alone, remember this: it is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign that you are growing stronger, that you are becoming someone who can face anything life throws your way, and that kind of rejecting help when it is truly needed. It means knowing that at the end of the day, you are capable of handling whatever life throws at you. It means understanding that no matter how difficult the road ahead is, you have the strength to keep going. The more you embrace solitude, the more resilient you become. The more obstacles you overcome alone, the less afraid you become of future challenges. Every hardship you face without help is another proof that you are stronger than you once believed. Patterns, because they never step outside their comfort zones. They lean on others for motivation, guidance, and support, never fully developing the ability to push themselves. But when you take full control of your own path, something incredible happens. You become stronger, smarter, and far more capable than you ever imagined. Walking alone means becoming your own teacher. You start seeking knowledge instead of waiting for someone to give it to you. You begin problem solving instead of looking for someone. Strength. It is the kind that lasts a lifetime. Chapter 4. The solo journey forces you to level up. When you walk alone, you have no choice but to grow. There is no one to carry you when things get tough, no one to make decisions for you, and no one to shield you from the challenges that come your way. It might seem daunting at first, but this is exactly what makes the solo journey so powerful. It forces you to level up in ways you never would if you always had someone else to rely on. Many people stay stuck in the same to fix things for you. You take full ownership of your growth, and that kind of independence is what sets truly successful people apart from the rest. Think about it. The greatest achievers in history weren't handed their success. They figured things out on their own. They took risks, failed, learned, and adapted. They became experts in their fields, not because someone told them what to do every step of the way, but because they sought knowledge, experimented, and kept moving forward despite obstacles. When you commit to walking alone, you develop self-discipline. No one is pushing you, so you must push yourself. No one is reminding you to stay consistent, so you must hold yourself accountable. This process transforms you into someone who doesn't need motivation from external sources. You become self-motivated, self-driven, and relentless in your pursuit of growth. The solo journey also teaches you adaptability. When you face challenges without outside help, you learn how to think critically, adjust your approach, and find solutions on your own. Every difficulty becomes a lesson, and every setback becomes an opportunity to grow. Over time you realize that you don't fear obstacles anymore, because you've trained yourself to handle them. Most people avoid walking alone because they fear making mistakes. They think they need constant advice and approval to move forward. But the truth is, mistakes are part of the process. Every misstep teaches you something valuable, and every failure brings you closer to mastery. The only way to truly grow is to take full responsibility for your path and learn as you go. You don't need a crowd to push you forward. You don't need constant validation to know you're on the right path. All you need is the willingness to keep learning, keep improving, and keep moving forward one step at a time. The solo journey is not easy, but it is worth it, because when you walk alone, you don't just survive, you evolve. You become a version of yourself that is stronger, wiser, completely unstoppable. And that kind of growth, it can only happen when you step out of your comfort zone and decide to level up on your own. Chapter 5. Not everyone is meant to understand your journey. One of the hardest lessons to learn in life is that not everyone will understand, support, or even respect your journey. And that's okay. Some paths are meant to be walked alone because they are not for others. They are for you. From the moment we are born, we are conditioned to seek approval. As children, we look to our battles or experience the thoughts that drive you. So why expect everyone to understand your path? When you start walking a path that others do not recognize or approve of, you will face resistance. People will question your decisions. They will doubt your ability to succeed. Some will even try to pull you back into the failure, not because they want to harm you, but because they don't understand your vision. Others may project their own fears onto you, warning you about failure, simply because parents and teachers for guidance. As we grow, we turn to friends, mentors, and society to validate our choices. This is natural, but if we are not careful, we can become trapped in the cycle of living for others instead of living for ourselves. We start shaping our decisions based on what people expect rather than what truly fulfills us. But here's the truth. Your journey is unique. Your goals, your dreams, and your vision are yours alone. No one else has lived your life. No one else has felt your exact struggles, fought your growth is uncomfortable, and when you start to change, people around you may feel threatened. Some may even try to discourage you because they are afraid of losing the version of you they are familiar with. But remember this, you do not need permission to change. You do not need validation to follow your own path. The greatest transformations happen when you stop seeking approval and start trusting yourself. Think about the most successful, inspiring individuals throughout history. Leonardo da Vinci, Nikola Tesla, Steve Jobs. They themselves are afraid of taking risks. This is why so many people give up on their dreams before they even begin. They allow the opinions of others to dictate their lives. They choose comfort over growth, approval over authenticity, and security over fulfillment. But those who achieve great things in life have one thing in common. They do not let the voices of others drown out their own. If you truly want to evolve, you must accept that not everyone will support you, and that's a sign that you are on the right path. Oprah Winfrey, Bruce Lee. They all had one thing in common. At some point in their journey, they had to go against the grain. They had to believe in themselves even when no one else did. They had to trust their own vision, even when it made no sense to the people around them. The moment you stop expecting everyone to understand your journey, you set us free. You are no longer bound by the limitations of others. You no longer fear judgment, criticism, or rejection, because you realize that their opinions do not determine your success. You do. Walking alone doesn't mean you will always be alone. Along the way, you will meet people who truly align with your vision, who respect your growth, and who add value to your life, rather than taking from it. But until then, you must be willing to keep moving forward. Even if no one else sees what you see, your journey is yours. It does not need to make sense to anyone else. It only needs to make sense to you. The sooner you embrace this truth, the sooner you step into the life you were meant to live fully, unapologetically, and on your own terms. Chapter 6. True freedom comes from walking your own path. Freedom is often misunderstood. Many believe it means having the ability to do whatever they want, whenever they want. Others think it's about financial success, status, or independence from obligations. But true freedom goes much deeper than that. Real freedom is the ability to walk your own path, to make choices based on what fulfills you rather than what pleases others, and live a life that is aligned with your inner truth, without fear, guilt, or the need for external validation. Most people never experience this kind of freedom because they are trapped in expectations, in social conditioning, in fear of judgment, and in the belief that they must follow the same path as everyone else. They stay in jobs they hate, relationships that drain them, and routines that feel suffocating simply because it's what they've been told is normal. But when you choose to walk, longer blame society, your family, or your circumstances for where you are in life. Every decision is yours, every failure is yours, and every success is yours. This is why most people choose to stay in their comfort zones, because stepping into real freedom means stepping into full accountability. But those who dare to take this path understand something that others do not. Once you embrace the responsibility of creating your own life, you unlock a power that is greater than anything society can offer you. You no longer need permission to be happy. You no longer need to wait for the right time to pursue your dreams. You no longer need to justify your choices to anyone. Walking alone also frees you from the emotional chains that keep most people stuck. When you stop seeking approval, you stop being controlled by what others think. You stop making choices based on fear of rejection or criticism. You stop living according to the expectations of people who do not understand your vision. Instead, you start making decisions based on what is best for you. Alone, you step outside of that system. You free yourself from the pressure to conform. You realize that you are not obligated to follow the traditional path of life. Going to school, getting a job you don't love, settling into a routine, and living for the weekend. You begin to see that you can create your own rules, your own version of success, and your own way of living. This kind of freedom is terrifying to many people because it requires complete responsibility. When you walk your own path, you can